of this kind. I'm very grateful for you for giving me the opportunity to come here to Yalta to commemorate the anniversary of the Allied Conference held here 75 years ago, and to tell you about a few minutes my point of view on this essential event of the end of World War II, which united the Soviet, American and British allies with the notable exception of France, but especially on its consequences and on what we can learn from it today in this unstable and fragile world in where we live. The main purpose of this meeting between the three big guys, Stalin, Roosevelt and Churchill, was, it seems to me, not only to take the measures likely to accelerate the end of the war, this terrible war which was coming to make so many victims, nearly 60 million dead, not only to draw the outlines of the future organization of Europe, a subject which was so burning then, but also, and above all, to guarantee in lasting way the stability of the new world order after the common victory against Nazi Germany. This is how the United Nations came into being, and the new international organizations that were supposed to guarantee this peace were gradually set up. We can honestly recognize that for 75 years to this day, the world has been protected from a terrible disaster, a third world war, a potentially nuclear war. But there were, and there still are, so many conflicts, so many traps on our path, that nevertheless we must keep very careful, very vigilant, and very humble. There has not been a lack of trials and sufferings for 75 years on almost all continents, in Africa, in the Near and Middle East, in Asia, in Central and South America, and even in Europe, where under the blows of the Western powers, the United States, Germany, and NATO, and we can even say with the complicity of the European Union, Yugoslavia broke up in terrible conditions between 1992 and 1999. With no regard for international law, cheerfully floated by those who still vouch for it and present themselves as its best defenders. I myself, as an officer of the French Army, of its Foreign Legion and then of its Special Forces, have been involved in many crises and conflicts in Africa or in the Balkans. I witnessed the powerlessness of the United Nations, unable to prevent the conflicts, to restore or to keep the peace, as, for example, in Rwanda, where I were in 1994, or earlier in Somalia in 1992-1993. There are only examples, of course, but obviously they are calling out for us. This powerlessness is not new. We could mention the wars that tore the world apart, so Southeast Asia, the South American continent, the African continent. Let us remember, for example, what nightmare happened in the former Belgian Congo in the 60s and following. Each time, unfortunately, the United Nations has been powerless. Closer to us, it should be reminded that the aggression carried out by NATO against Serbia in 1999 was enhanced without the authorization of the United Nations, such as the 2003 invasion of Iraq, the Second Gulf War. Sometimes it's a little more subtle, a little more tricky, like in Libya, where we took advantage of a green light given by the UN to a no-fly zone for the humanitarian aid in order to avoid the blue path promised to Benghazi by the Libyan leader. Clearly, we proceeded his vicious elimination in 2011, and this event caused a real chaos, which still lasts not only in this country, but in the whole Sahel area, permanently destabilized by the Western powers, USA, Great Britain, and France. When we see that some United Nations resolutions are not respected, including by members of the Security Council who voted for it, there are reasons to ask yourself some serious questions. Let us talk, for instance, of Resolution 2044 about Kosovo. What about its current implement? What about the respect of its prescriptions? Instead of restoring the sovereignty of the Serbian state, to which this province belongs, the Western powers gave their blessing to the so-called independence in 2008, breaking the most basic principle of international law, thus creating a very serious precedent, but also setting a glaring human situation of injustice, consisting in the ethnic cleansing of the Serbs in this province. As the former French ambassador in Russia, Jacques Hogard, rightly wrote in his work published 3 years ago, Diplomacy at the Risk of Values, I recommend you to read, the Western powers has claimed for itself the political and military role of international protector of oppressed population and victims of conflict, defender of universal rights, and imperialist promoter of democracy. This new globalist order, which goes hand in hand with the progressive destruction of the identity of the nations of Europe, the abandonment of their civilizational values, the oblivion or even the denial of their Greek and Roman roots shaped by the Christian faith, this new globalist order has gradually replaced the more balanced world order, more respectful of nations, of their identity, of their independence that the Yalta conference has sought to establish. Even if some were able then, not without reason, to criticize the sort of sharing of the world between the Soviet Union of the time and the Anglo-Saxon powers. When we see how, bypassing the Security Council, some states arrogate the right to issue severe sanctions with serious economic, social consequences, but also diplomatic and political ones, and perhaps tomorrow other military consequences, against other sovereign countries with different interests and diverging policies, there's reason to be seriously worried. I'm of course referring to the sanctions taken by the United States, but also by the European Union, to put pressure on Russia in the context of the Ukrainian crisis, which was yet provoked by America's interference in the internal affairs of Ukraine. I'm of course referring to the sanctions taken by the United States against Iran, this great Western Asian power, which does not intend to submit to the American diktat until the assassination on Iraqi land of an official feature of the Iranian state, General Soleimani, with no other mandate than that they have claimed for themselves. We could talk for a long time about the disorders of the world, which come mainly from a progressive but real distancing from the principles of Yalta. The USA cling to an imperialist vision of the world for their own and exclusive profit, a vision which they would like to be unipolar, and in which they would play the role of undisputed global policeman. Without being naive, but on the contrary, because of a pragmatic and realistic vision of the world must prevail in order to preserve peace, security and stability, which are so precious but fragile goods. It's absolutely necessary to return to the essential principles of Yalta, so that the vision of a multipolar world is imposed on all, while respecting sovereignties, identities, and nations. Thank you.